So what's going on, guys? My name is MrDalekJD, and another day, another DLC 4 teaser video is here. If you missed yesterday's, it'll be linked down below, as well as Monday's. But this is our strangest one yet. Take a listen.
We created Ascension on the principle of being better men, of making this world a better place. If this blood is key to unlocking the future, we would be fools to not take this opportunity.
Now, this is without question one of the strangest, most vague teasers we've had yet. But of course, the job of your boy is to break it down and make sure you guys know exactly what's being teased here. But if we dive into whose voice that is and the context of what's happening, let's take a look at what we're looking at. We're looking at a waterfall that is running against some rock, which clearly has element 115 veins flowing through it, as well as seeing icicles and snow above it. So again, if we needed any more clarification that this map is set somewhere cold, that is the confirmation right there. And we do believe that this map is indeed a Call of the Dead remake, as the teaser on Monday was the most obvious teaser we've had yet towards that. But you can see in the background that skybox is like a pinky purple. That looks absolutely gorgeous. One thing I loved about Revelations was that amazing skybox colors, and it looks like we're getting that again. Breaking down the wording of what this voice says, they say, "We created Ascension on the principle of being better men, of making this world a better place. If this blood is key to unlocking the future, we'd be fools to not take this opportunity." Now, from those words alone, talking about creating Ascension, we can already narrow it down to a few different names. The first being Yuri or Gersh, who were both Russian scientists as part of the research group, the Ascension group. We see both Gersh and Yuri during the classified intro, where you can see them near the Casimir mechanism. And as we know in the storyline, Yuri became the Pentagon thief, and Gersh we found again in Gorod Krovi. Now, of course, there's a lot of time travel stuff that happens in the Ether story, so what we might play as in Call of the Dead in 1945 is a slightly alternate version of the original events, but the Ascension group wasn't formed until a year after the year that this DLC map's going to take place in. And in Zombies history, Gersh didn't join the Ascension group until 1955, so with that in mind, I don't know why he'd be here. So the only other person that this could potentially be is Harvey Yenna. And Harvey Yenna is a character which was first mentioned in Call of the Dead in the original Black Ops 1, and also mentioned on Gorod Krovi. Now, in the storyline, Harvey Yenna was the one who created the Scavenger and its upgraded version, the Hyena Infradead, during the war in 1945. And after the war and the dissolution of Group 935, Yenna was hired by the Soviet Union and established the Ascension group. So with that backstory of him creating the Scavenger and its upgraded version, the Hyena Infradead, but we have no backgrounds really as to how he ended up on Call of the Dead, how he created that weapon, and this voice also being Russian, it would make sense to narrow it down completely to this voice being Harvey Yenna. There's been a few mentions of him over the years, but of course, as this map is going to wrap up a serious amount of Zombies history, there are a few characters that we've heard of over the years, but we've never heard their voices, or they've never had big narrative roles to play, but this seems like this might be the case. And the last thing we heard from Harvey Yenna was in the Angonia fracture in Gorod Krovi, where Harvey Yenna was transferred to the city to continue the Die Glock research, which is something that goes all the way back to the origins of Der Riese. And I think it would be really interesting to explore what happened to the Ascension group, because the main two scientists, Gersh and Yuri, obviously ended up in very different paths of life, but Harvey Yenna remains a mystery. 2 days after the incident with Ultimus arriving at the Ascension facility and releasing Gersh from the Casimir mechanism, the Ascension group was consumed by infighting as different parties vie for control in the absence of Gersh, which had left the future of the group as uncertain. Now, this video was posted with the caption, "The way through will be revealed," and if we look on classified, obviously we know that this is implying the entering of Agartha and the Ether. That is what our characters need to do in this map in order to defeat Dr. Monty, is getting rid of the power that he has with the influence of the Agartha and Ether. And in the classified walls, it mentions the way through, including using the elemental shard that we got from Alpha Omega, the golden rod, which we've yet to get, but we assume in this map because that's where it originally came from, and of course some other device, which I mentioned in previous videos looks like the pylons that were powered up during the Victor storyline. The mystery here is that Harvey Yenna, if we suspect it to be him or whoever this other Russian character is in this clip, requires blood as a key to unlocking the future, which is really interesting. Whose blood do you think he's talking about here? We could assume it to maybe be Richtofen's blood, but we already got a lot of that from the dark mechanism in Blood of the Dead, sadly, but we do know that from the characters traveling, their blood is powerful, but why would Harvey Yenna want it? Or what could this very well be implying is a cipher we got 3 years ago in Gorod Krovi, which spoke about a lab that had the Victor's characters in stasis on ice. The sequence of the current blood samples being taken from those specimens were the initials of each of the Victor's characters. We've seen it in the comics that their blood is super powerful. If that cipher is talking about the Victor's characters, they aren't on ice anymore. They've come out of their stasis chambers in Blood of the Dead and escaped. So how would Harvey Yenna get their blood? He mentioned specifically that if this blood is key to unlocking the future, they'd be fools to not take the opportunity. And in the cipher, it does mention that the characters were kept in stasis on ice to speak, which is a huge sort of tongue-in-cheek reference to the surroundings of this map being on ice. And some keen-eyed people are thinking that this little waterfall we're seeing is actually from the original spawn of Call of the Dead. It is on the left side of the spawn leading towards the lighthouse, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. But I definitely think that with this and all the other previous teasers we've had, including Monday's, Treyarch are really trying to include all the lore from the storyline right from the beginning up till now. It seems like everything is important in this finale, including details like Harvey Yenna. And there's probably multiple other things that we've also looked over from the original storyline that has never been brought up or explained, and it's going to be brought to the forefront with this DLC, which is absolutely exciting. But if you enjoyed the video, guys, slap a like rating on it. I can't thank you guys enough for the support recently on the channel when it comes to these teasers, but make sure you have the bell ticked so you do not miss out on these new teasers the moment they drop, so you can be the first people in the world to see them. But if you missed yesterday's video, the teaser, you can catch it on your screen now, as well as a video showcasing an hour of Borderlands 3. I managed to get it a little bit early thanks to the publishers and the developers of the game, and I wanted to showcase it for you guys. You might have missed that, so check it out if you haven't already. But thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time.